Hello and welcome to the Crone Codes, a gathering place for women of all ages and all stages to remember your worth, your purpose, and your power. I'm your host, the creator and resident crone, Joan Advent. Welcome to the Crone Codes. I'm your host, the creator and resident crone, Joan. So my intention for this episode is to offer a space for reflection, to provide a guided practice, to be a resource for anyone who is in need of slowing down, of coming back to ourselves and to presence what might be very powerful challenges or forces that you're navigating right now. So 9 years ago this summer, I was sitting in an emergency room with my husband and my daughter. We had just gone to have an after-dinner ice cream cone at the local ice cream shop, and as we're sitting there enjoying that, my husband says to me, "I feel like I might be having a heart attack." And so off we ran to the ER as a family, and we're sitting there, and I am in the room just inwardly shaking my head and saying to God, seriously? Really? This is really going to happen right now? Because I was scheduled the next day to hop in the car with my daughter and go and see my mother who was dying, to go and visit her in Ohio. And it just felt like too much. It was like, no, God. I reject this. I object. This just is not going to work for me. It's just too much. Long story short, after hours of tests and sitting in the ER, we discovered my husband was not having a heart attack. There was some anxiety or panic that was going on. But ultimately, there was no heart attack. So after a very stressful night, I woke up the next morning, packed my daughter up, and we headed off to Ohio to go see my mother. So I'm sharing this because that experience for me is, in a nutshell, what not only that time, that season of my life was, but I would say the most intense sandwich generation moments condensed into a 2 or 3 year period where very quickly my mother received a diagnosis and then within 3 months had died, and then putting my father into a memory care facility after her funeral alongside my brother, he and I working together to do that. And all the while traveling back and forth from my house in Virginia to Ohio. 13 trips I made in 1 year, most of them driving the 500 miles there and the 500 miles back. And all the while, my daughter was descending into her first experiences with depression after being a really bright and lighthearted, vivacious, curious, dynamic girl. So all of this occurring in that window, and doing my best to navigate how to show up, how to be the mother, the daughter, the wife, the hub really the hub. And then throwing into the mix an aunt who never had children or married, who also was needing support later on in that phase. So I'm reflecting on that time and that period because just a few weeks ago, I was recording an interview with my next guest, Lori Seymour. And when I emerged from my space, my recording space, that feeling washed over me again as my husband was going through a very intense and deep personal crisis. My daughter was in town visiting from college, and my sweet little dog was there, eager to be fed, and they were all clamoring for my support, for my presence, for what I could do to assist them with whatever it was that they were needing in that moment. And I recognized, wow, I haven't felt this way. I haven't felt this way in a long time. But because I'm aware that we are in a 9-year, as far as numerology goes, if you add up all the numbers in 2025, it equals the number 9. And what we know about 9 years is they are designed as years of completion. They are years when we are completing the last 9-year cycle. And so I recognized that part of what was emerging through that very brief taste of what I had been swimming in 9 years and 8 years and 7 years ago is that this dynamic, this theme, this element, however you want to say it, is coming to a completion in my life, that I am being invited to complete the being the one. And not that I will stop being a wife and a mother and all the other roles that I play once we cross into next year, but there is a way that initiation of that period of time for me, that very intensive in which generation demands, that I was feeling, and the ways that I had to both learn to pivot, to rise to the occasion. It did activate things within me from a positive standpoint. It did activate latent skills and abilities and powers to, what I would say, partner with life in very important ways to help, whether it was facilitate, usher in miracles, just bring things into a flow for whoever needed whatever it was they needed in the moment, that those skills were turned on within me as I walked through that initiation. And there were some elements that were still, we'll say, rooted in old behavior of leaving myself out of the equation, or not knowing how to bring myself into the equation, as in keep myself on the priority list in a meaningful way. And so as this is coming to a close, I'm recognizing that the call, which I often see for many of us as women, particularly when we find ourselves in those sandwich generation moments, is the how to remember to prioritize ourselves, how to remember that we matter in the equation. And sometimes, as if you're living through any of these experiences, you know you just have to do what needs to be done and then take the space for yourself when the opportunity arises. But there are elements, we'll say, whether of the savior or the martyr or I don't know what, just ways that my ego might even get attached to being the go-to, get it done person. That those, I don't need those in the same way any longer. That this 9-year cycle for me has been a deepening in both recognizing, as the Serenity Prayer might say, what am I meant to accept, or I would say even surrender, whether it's to God, to a higher power, to the universe, to others even, and what is mine to take action on. And it is that balance of really walking that edge that feels in part like my invitation right now, as well as the invitation to, which is this is a part of what this past 9 years has been for me as well, because I did go through my second Saturn return, and a significant component of that was returning to, or turning to, learning to love myself and honor myself and tend to myself in ways that I had never done before. So the whole point is that there's this confluence of threads, this confluence of themes, this period of initiation that as we bring 2025 to a close, the energies are supporting each of us, but I'm speaking about my own experience at the moment. They are supporting me to complete what this 9-year cycle was destined or meant to be about. So I am offering that in part because in my experience, to the extent we are conscious of partnering with these larger forces that are working in our lives, working in the collective life, to, for example, bring closure or clean up things that need to be cleaned up. To the extent we're conscious in doing that, that it enables us to do so more easily without things needing to come to a crisis point to get our attention, and just to move through it more quickly. So the other piece I want to name, which if you're on my email list or if you work with me, I know you've heard me say this, that we are also in the midst of wrapping up in Chinese astrology the energies of the wood snake, the yin snake. So with the Chinese New Year, there was always a new energy that comes in to support us as humans. That was the belief, as I understand it, of Chinese astrology. And so this year was all about the snake energy, which is about shedding skins, shedding what's no longer needed, as well as transmuting poisons. I don't mean literal poisons. I am speaking figuratively, metaphorically, although I suppose literally could be true as well. So we are in an unusual passage of time right now because coupling the snake year with a 9-year in numerology amplifies what we are capable of clearing and shedding and laying to rest. We are heading into 2026. If you add up those numbers, they are a 1 year, which probably isn't surprising, is a new beginning. It's a year of new possibilities and the energies. It's the fire horse is what is coming with the next Chinese New Year, which is, I think it's the 19th of February. So between now and then, consciously or unconsciously, we are being invited to shed what's no longer needed. We are being invited to transmute the poisons in our life. So whether it's poisonous habits, poisonous beliefs, poisonous dynamics, poisonous attachments, we are being invited to recognize and release those. And it's intensifying because we're at the tail end. We're at the tail end of the snake. We're at the tail end of the year. And it's like the everything must go sale, like everything must go. So if you're feeling pressure in your life, if you have experienced an unexpected challenge, a death, a loss, financial upheaval, relational upheaval, health issues that are coming to a head, it could be life's, your soul's invitation to shed something in your life or to turn your attention or your direction towards what's happening and not necessarily relate to it just at face value, but to understand that there are deeper roots that you are being invited to extract with this experience. To that end, I am offering a completion ceremony on the 30th of the month in 2 weeks. And in preparation for that, I've created an inventory or a guide to help enable you to consciously look at the themes and the patterns of the last 9 years. Both of these components are an aspect of the Crone's Code bonus membership. So the guide is already posted for anyone who chooses to become a member. And then this ceremony will be the first of 4 quarterly ceremonies I'll be offering throughout each year for members of the bonus community. So if that's something that you're interested in, there is a link in the show notes. And I will say the investment for that, which gives you access to the guide, the completion guide, as well as a growing library of bonus content connected to each of the episodes that are created with the Crone codes, is less than, it's monthly, costs, the investment is less than a decent lunch out monthly. It's $8 a month. And if you choose to invest for a year, you have access to the 4 ceremonies, which will take place roughly every 3 months throughout the year. You save $16, and for the next month, you have the possibility of winning a free one-on-one consultation session with me. So that's for those who register for the membership at the year-long commitment. level. So again, whether you choose to do that or not, I want to invite you to use the remainder of this year to slow down, which I know can be challenging, the most challenging time of the year to do so, but to really take some time and reflect on what themes are emerging for you, what themes are getting tied up for you. And I wanted to take our closing moments to go into a brief meditation. I feel compelled to share that this week personally, I have been feeling deeply broken open by my own process of completing and reconciling this year. But my heart has been broken open. Yesterday, had the honor of sitting with a dear friend of mine who has just lost her son. And earlier in the day, with a beloved neighbor who looks after our sweet Molly when we need assistance. It's like a surrogate grandparent who has had a fall and now is recovering. So on and on. There are situations like this. Some are intense, some are not quite as life or death as these two situations, but what I could feel, what I have felt all week long, is this invitation to be present. And for me personally, I don't know what it's like for you, but for me, when I have deep feelings that are calling for my attention or calling for my presence, it often shows up in my system as busyness. It's like the way that things start to emerge is I start to get very busy and I start to tighten up or contract, or my mind, my ego goes into all the things that need to be done and things get really revved up. And I was in that state on Monday, and then I spilled my smoothie full of chia seeds all over my space. And it just was the thing that broke me open and just brought me to tears, frankly, because I had been, as my husband would say, wrapped around my axle, which means efforting and doing and trying and getting nowhere and getting more and more agitated. But the truth of the matter is that there was a lot of really deep grief within me that was wanting to emerge. And I had been running from it, unbeknownst to me. And my smoothie spill was the straw that broke the camel's back. Oh, so I wanted us to pause and just take a few moments. And I think the tears do want to come through because there is a softening and a tenderizing that comes with grief, that comes with emotion, with being present to what we're feeling. So I want to just invite you in this moment, if you're able, to settle and relax and see if there's a way that you can open to being tenderized or softened, or just bringing your presence here into the moment. So I want to invite you to just sit back and allow yourself to rest in the support of wherever you're sitting. Noticing your breath. And I want you to become aware of the space surrounding you, the air, just the spaciousness that is surrounding you, and recognize that it is empty, but it is also full. It is full of all the things, all the energies, all the unmanifest possibilities that are present and being drawn to you in this moment. Whether they're being drawn to you through what needs to be completed, whether they're being drawn to you by what your heart is longing for, that the space surrounding you for as far out as you can imagine, like if you can start to bring your conscious awareness to first just the perimeter of your body, and then to bring it out a foot or two, and then to expand your awareness to the room that you're in or the space that you're in. And then to allow your awareness to bring your sense of what is surrounding you far above your head, like up into the sky, as high as the trees, as high as the roof. And similarly, down deep into the earth, that you are the center of this vortex that is calling in, that is drawing to you both the reflection of what needs your attention. So what you're seeing in your life, what you're experiencing, that is being drawn to you like you are the most powerful magnet, the most powerful gravitational force in your universe, that it is all being drawn to you, as well as the supports that can assist you with any and all of the things, all of the pieces that your heart is longing for, all of the answers to your prayers, the resolutions to your conflicts. Like it is all in the space around you, in the non-physical. It's here, but it is dynamically making its way towards you. And you are the choice point. You are the one that gets to say yes or no thank you. And the way you do that is by your willingness to be present to what's here and now. Your willingness to meet what shows up in this moment, and then the next moment, and then the next moment, and to meet it with your presence, with your heart open, the wisdom of your heart open and accessible, the place where you can ride the wave, so to speak, or experience emotionally whatever is occurring. This is the invitation. This is what welcomes in more of those answered prayers, more of God's grace, more of Holy Mother, Holy Father God's vision for you, like the highest vision of what is capable for you to receive and to accomplish or embody or experience in your life. So I want to just invite you to imagine, whether it is like the vision of the toroidal field, which is like that giant donut where we're in the center of that tube, so to speak, or whether it is almost like a tornadic energy or presence where you are the center and you are either welcoming or rejecting what is coming towards you. And with that, as it comes in, understanding that you can metabolize, you can digest, you can complete, you can integrate the challenges, the conflicts. All of that can be tended, but it must be met with your presence. And you can become more and more and more skillful at doing that, at allowing and partnering with what you are calling in consciously or unconsciously, bringing it in to you, tending whatever needs tending, and then releasing and letting go of whatever needs to be released. So I want you to take a moment and allow yourself to envision again, whether you are in this toroidal field that is pulling in towards you, or this vortex, or this tornado, so to speak, and that you can modulate the pace. Like the pace does not need to overpower you, but that you continue practicing saying yes to meeting whatever it is. So we're going to just take a few moments of silence and just want you to tune in and see what is showing up that would like your attention within you or in your awareness of your life. What is showing up? And what does this need from you? What is it calling out from you? Are there supports that you need to tend or complete this fully? Is there a way that you're able to bless it and tend it in this moment? Would it be useful to call upon the divine in whatever name you use, to call upon God to assist you with this, either to get clear on what's needed or to take the steps that are necessary? And as that becomes clear, we're going to bring this experience to a close, recognizing that there is some version of this that is occurring nonstop in your life day to day, nonstop in each of our lives day to day, that there is this powerful, attractive capacity that we have, that we are welcoming in consciously or unconsciously, and we are blocking certain things consciously and unconsciously. And now is an optimal time to bring this into your awareness as we are looking towards completing this year, this powerful passage, which we won't have in this particular way in the course of our lifetime again. So, my dear listener, I want to thank you. I want to offer you my blessings. I want to offer you my deep gratitude for being here. I want to invite you to join us for the completion ceremony on Tuesday, December 30th. I want to invite you to access the completion guide and to check out the incredible library of bonus content that has been created by my guests and I just for you. And as we close, I want to offer you the reminder that whether you are making ripples or big ass waves in your world and in your life, that you are loved and you are loved. And frankly, right now, it just seems like that is what it is all about. It is about being love, stepping into love, and sharing our love with others. Until next time. Thank you for joining us today on the Crone Codes podcast. If you appreciated what was shared, please rate, review, subscribe, and comment wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to go deeper into the Crone Codes with curated bonus content created just for you, join our Crone Codes members community on Substack and receive prompts, tools, and resources for your wise woman journey.